Hi everybody, Karuna here, and today I'm going to take on Eckhart Tolle, Mooji, Rupert Spira, and other spiritual teachers. So this isn't a daunting task at all. I figure somebody's got to do it, so please pray for me. The very reason I started this channel was in my now more than 25 years of spiritual study while healing my own trauma. I found the way the spiritual teachings were presented was falling short in terms of trauma, but at the same time, I found that the therapist that I found myself with, and I'm very grateful to these therapists, by the way, the time together felt a little dry. It didn't feel alive, infused with life, if that makes sense. So I started this channel to be a very important bridge between what is presented in traditional therapy and what we immerse ourselves in within spiritual study. And today, I'm going to call out these teachers. These are teachers I love. These are teachers I respect. These are teachers that are bringing beauty to our world by evoking deepened experiences inside of us. But at the same time, their inability to address trauma is leaving many of us in more conflict with ourselves. I have been so fortunate to spend time with Joan Halifax, Jack Kornfield, Radha Swami of the Krishna tradition, tantric scholar Paul Mullo Ortega, Kundalini meditation master Sri Vasudeva, as well as my beloved Ram Dass. I would sit with Ram Dass and suddenly all my insecurities and my judgments would just melt. If I were to summarize their approach to trauma, it would be something along the lines of, well, just meditate and see what happens. Okay, there's validity there. Let's come to being. Let's simply come to being. But for those of us who've experienced trauma, it's not that simple. We hear the message, simply come to being, and it sounds so delicious and so freeing and so intoxicating. And we want this more than anything. And at the same time, we may not feel like we're getting it. Maybe everybody else in the room is getting it, but not me. And this rubs up against our shame. And shame, according to Dr. David Hawkins and others, is the most dense or toxic frequency that we can experience. So now this shame has arisen, and there's a juxtaposition with this desire for freedom, to be with being, and the bridge is simply too great of a gap. It's impossible to go immediately from shame to being. There'll be this rubber band effect. It seems like one or the other. I'm either in some version of shame or I'm in some version of being. These beautiful teachers like Rupert, whom I've also spent time with, their job in many ways is to dismantle the individual self, dismantle belief systems. But during childhood trauma, our individual self was stripped away from us. We vacated the individual self, which means this important developmental time was taken away from us. And then we sit with a teacher who inspires us so, but it feels like there's a void. It's like spiritual bypassing or spiritual escapism. And we feel hollow inside. This is where the important bridge comes in. To sit with a mentor, a guide, a therapist, or in a group of people who understand. Someone who validates your experience when you were younger. Someone who helps you reclaim your identity. It's so important for us to go back, as it were, and reassemble the parts of our individual self that were strewn about. And once we reassemble those parts, so we kind of feel like we're walking again, and we can actually be discerning inside, then we're in a better position to sit with Eckhart or Muji or Rupert. Our job is not to bite the hook of spiritual bypassing. Our job is to reclaim ourselves, to weave the parts of ourselves together and bring that to a spiritual path of our choice. Now that spiritual path could be navigating in your world. Remember, consciousness is everything. So healing can be found through a job or through attaining a degree or having a child or an animal. Healing can occur in a myriad of ways. But if you are drawn to a spiritual path, make sure you stay discerning. We can only be discerning when we've reclaimed our individuality. Then we have the possibility of sitting with these teachers, of being with these teachers in a very integrated, real deal kind of way. We have this bridge, this beautiful bridge that crosses all the frequencies of expression, from shame all the way to being. If this message was helpful for you, and if you respect me for taking on Eckhart and Rupert and Muji, please like this video and be sure to share it with others in our community. We want to support as many people as we can that are drawn to the healing of trauma and also the journey of spiritual transformation. Thank you so much for watching today, and I'll see you back on the channel very soon.